When you're almost famous, you just might find yourself live on air on WATD. Hour 2 of Almost Famous begins now.
Welcome to the Tiny Stage Hour of Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across the region. Here on the South Shore, into Boston, across New England, it's what we do every Tuesday night, brought to you by Tiny and Sons Glass. Make sure to follow us online, facebook.com/almostfamousradio, Instagram @almostfamousradio, and the Tiny Stage Hour is always made available by podcast by visiting almostfamousradio.com. My name is John Shea, and our first guest of 2020 is Lauren Weintraub. Lauren, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm so good. I didn't know I got to be the first guest of 2020.
Of course.
I feel so special right now.
Excellent. So for those who may have missed your last time here, give us an introduction as to who you are.
Yeah, well, I'm Lauren. Good to meet you. I'm from Sudbury, originally Sudbury, Massachusetts, but I've lived down in Nashville now for, I guess, 2.5 years. Writing songs and performing and doing my thing, but that's just what I love to do.
That's amazing.
Make music.
That's cool. Now, how did you end up in Nashville?
So when it was my senior year of high school, I was kind of deciding like where I was going to go to college, what I was going to do, and I found Belmont University, which is a school kind of right next to Music Row in Nashville, literally, and that was a big perk to me that it was right there, and that's where I ended up going to school. So that was kind of the initial reason for me to move there, but I've loved it. I've been there for 2 years now.
Now, how did music enter your life?
So we were just talking about this, actually. I started in theater. They can't see, but my hair's red, so I played Annie multiple times.
So you know The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow basically by heart.
Yeah, like in my sleep, backwards and sideways, yes.
That's cool. Now, you're an amazing songwriter. When did you start writing your own music?
I think high school. I would say my freshman year of high school was kind of when I sat down and actually wrote my first song. I was kind of always like making up weird melodies as a child, but I was always like really embarrassed to write songs. I was like, that's so weird, like, oh my gosh. And then one day I just did it, and I have been doing it ever since. Fantastic.
Well, before we get too much further, can we hear a song?
Oh, yeah, of course.
What are you sharing with us first tonight, Lauren?
I'll play one I wrote actually with John Paul White, who's one of my heroes. He used to be in a duo called the Civil Wars, which is one of my favorite. I mean, I've just listened to them for a really, really long time, but I got to go down to Muscle Shoals and write with him for the first time over the summer. And this is what we came up with. It's called If You Come Over.
That's amazing. We have Lauren Weintraub on the Tiny Stage on 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
Thank you.
If you come over, I'll probably open the door, let you in. I'll put on some coffee, and we'll fall into those old roles again. We'll end up laughing about some silly old memory, and I'll give you that look, same one you'll give me if you come over. I'll probably put on that old 45 you bought me in Boston, back when everything felt so alive. And soon it won't be the only thing spinning around in the dark. That's how it'll start, like it always starts. And that'd be such a bad thing, wouldn't it? I'd keep control, but who am I kidding? That's never worked for you and me before. My eyes would linger, and we'd fall back into what we used to be. Of me wanting you, and you wanting me, and that'd be such a bad thing, wouldn't it? It's the last thing that should happen. Oh, isn't it? And you being here sounds like a bad idea, doesn't it? Doesn't it? If you come over, it'll all be over. If you come over, if you come over.
Very cool. That is Lauren Weintraub joining us live on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. Talk about how that co-write actually developed, if you would, Lauren.
It's actually a funny story. So I was like looking forward to this for so long because John's one of my heroes, and the guy who set it up was like, go to Muscle Shoals, like he has a house there, whatever. Somehow John had it in his head that he was coming to Nashville. So the day of the ride, my mom and I drove to Muscle Shoals while he drove to Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then it was like 11 o'clock, and John Paul was like, where are you at? And I was like, right outside your house. And he was like, oh. So then he like drove all the way back, and we finally sat down to write, and ended up getting a great song. But yeah, it's funny how that all worked out. But he's an amazing guy. Like writing with him was just almost like a lesson in songwriting. He's amazing.
That's very cool. Now, are you working on a full length?
You mean like a record?
Yes.
Hopefully. That's my goal for 2020. I've really like taken the last 3 to 4 months to just write some more. So I feel like I have stockpiled all these songs that are like my little secret gems, and I'm ready to kind of put them out into the world. So
Fantastic. And since the last time you were here, do I understand you signed a publishing deal?
I did. Yes, I did.
How did that happen?
So I saw you, I guess, literally a year ago exactly, which is crazy. And at the time I was kind of like in talks with a few publishing companies, but around February of this year I met Alex Heddle, who's my publisher now. And I sat down, played him 3 songs, and he looked me in the face and was like, I want to sign you, which never happens. And I was like, are you sure? Like, what? And he was like, but I also want to introduce you to Brandy Clark, who, we have signed, and she's looking to kind of mentor a young writer and sign a young writer. So I literally met her like 3 days later. I had to like take a test early in school so I could go and meet her. But we just really hit it off. And yeah, I think the first official day I signed was June 1st. So
that's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's cool. Now, are they going to be potentially helping with that recording?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's so cool having someone listen to every song I write, and they kind of have really helped me have a hand in like which songs feel the most like me and will be good for that. So yeah.
Now, you've been in Nashville for a couple of years. How would you say it compares to playing here in Boston?
It's definitely really different. I think shows in Nashville are really interesting because everybody's a musician. So, like, people are a lot more intent and they listen closer as opposed to, like, a rowdy scene up here. I like both. It's just, like, you have to be in the right headspace like know what to expect, because it's definitely very different.
Because I think I first met you, I want to say it was at one of the New England to Nashville songwriter rounds at Loretta's Last Call. Yeah. And that's not, it can be a listening room, not normally, but I think you're one of the few people that have actually seen silence that place.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for saying that.
And you were probably 15 or 16 at the time?
I was probably, 16. That's crazy.
Yikes.
Yeah,
That's cool,
I mean, everywhere in Nashville is like that, though. Like, we have a place called the Listening Room, literally, which is one of my favorite places to play.
Fantastic. That is the voice of Lauren Weintraub. And can you share with us any online information that you have?
Yeah, basically my website is just laurenweintraub.com. That's where you can find it all.
Awesome. Yeah. How about another song?
I'll play another song.
What's next?
This one is special to me. I wrote this one with Nathan Chapman, who also is amazing and incredible. But this was the first song we wrote together, too. And it's called Boston.
All right, let's hear it. Lauren Weintraub on 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
Thank you.
I went with you to Texas, but you never made it to Massachusetts. Tried to fight it, but it was useless. When you said we need to talk, and you called it off. Told my family you couldn't visit. You ate the price of that ticket, and I know it's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. For me, it's been hell, having this city to myself. You could have been kissed in the middle of Harvard Square. Oh, you could have been back there, sipping on ocean air. Oh, 4th of July and Christmas, such a shame you're gonna miss this. Could have been us, you lost it. Could have had me, could have had Boston. Finally got to see the Sox play. Posted pictures of you holding that you got lost on the tee. You should have been there with me, 'cause I know that wind is wicked when it's ripping through your jacket. Kinda gets you cursing while you're laughing, and you can barely feel your toes. But it's not that cold when you got someone to hold. You could have been kissed in the middle of Harvard Square. Oh, you could have been back there, sipping on ocean air. Oh, 4th of July and Christmas, such a shame you won't go miss this. Could have been us, you lost it. Could have had me, could have had Boston. Street. Oh, we could have been silhouettes dancing on the beach. Oh, we could have been coffee cups and Irish luck, baby. You could have been kissed in the middle of Harvard Square. Oh, you could have been back there, sipping on ocean air. Oh, 4th of July and Christmas, such a shame you won't miss this. Could have been us, you lost it. Could have had me, could have had Boston. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Could have been us, you lost it. Could have been us, you lost it. Could have been us, you lost it. Could have had me, could have had Boston.
Lauren Weintraub, live in studio right here on 95.9 WATD. Awesome job on that.
Thank you.
Now, the last time you were here, you mentioned a lot of co-writing sessions, and I've heard you mention that those last two songs were co-writes.
Yeah.
How would you compare co-writing to just writing by yourself?
I would say it's definitely really different. I mean, I've been doing a lot of co-writing the past few months. I think both are really great in different ways. Like, there are certain ideas that I know I'm just going to write by myself, and there are certain ideas, like, I think of someone really specific, and I'm like, oh, Nathan would be great for this, or Josh would be great for this. Yeah, it's always just having that different perspective that brings something to the table when you're sharing an idea with someone. But there are certain ones that I do keep for myself, and I'm like, I think this is just something I need to hash out on my own.
Now, since you moved to Nashville, has your writing become more of a routine?
For sure, yeah. Since I signed my deal, I've been writing basically 5 days a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that was definitely new for me, like learning how to have consistent ideas and be more consistent. And I was never really writing at that volume before. So yeah, that was definitely a new thing.
This might sound like a weird question, but how do you train yourself to do that?
It's hard. Like, I'm still figuring it out for sure. I think there are definitely weeks where, like, every song I write is great, and then there are weeks where every song I write is horrible. And so, like, it's almost like looking back on the good weeks and being like, okay, what was I doing this week? Like, was I sleeping more? Was I working out more? Was I going out more? Like, what is it that made me feel more inspired?
Do you find that you kind of have like a ritual when you're writing?
When I'm writing, it's always different. Yeah. I think there are things I can do outside of writing that help me be more consistent in the room, but I don't know. Every song starts so differently. It's kind of crazy. Like, there's no really set way about it, and I think that's why I like it. Like, every day I'm in a new place with a new person writing a different idea. So it's kind of crazy.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And that is Lauren Weintraub. She is on the tiny stage tonight on 95.9 WATD. We're up against our first break, and we are going to check in with this message from Tiny and Sons Glass, and then we have more music from Lauren Weintraub right here on 95.9 WATD.
We're your radio station, the South Shore's 95.9 WATD.
Welcome back to the Tiny Stage Hour right here on 95.9 WATD, part of Almost Famous, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from here in the Boston area, South Shore, and New England. Brought to you each and every week by Tiny and Sons Glass. My name is John Shea. Hopefully you're following along tonight online, facebook.com/almostfamousradio, Instagram @almostfamousradio, and our podcast. The Tiny Stage Hour is always podcasted at almostfamousradio.com. Tonight, our guest is Lauren Weintraub. How you doing in there?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am great. So for those who missed the first part of the show and the last time you were here, give us another introduction.
Yeah, I'm Lauren. I write songs for a living, which is kind of crazy to say now. But I'm from Sudbury, Massachusetts, and I'm living in Nashville now, kind of doing what I love every day.
Fantastic, and Happy New Year.
Oh my gosh, Happy New Year.
So I have to ask, too, any favorite musical moments over the last year that you want to share with us?
Wow, that's a tough
I can think of one.
Well, I did enter Tiny Desk NPR contest, and they honored me as like one of their top 10 favorites, which was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you were signed.
I got signed to a publishing deal, which was pretty great.
Little things like that.
Means I get to write songs every day, so I'm not mad about that at all.
That's very cool. How about what music were you listening to in 2019? Any favorite albums, favorite artists?
Yeah, Spotify actually just made me like a whole playlist of like your top songs of 2019. It was a lot of Noah Gunderson, who I love. I listened to this one song probably 200 times called "Ruin My Life" by Zara Larsson. Yeah, those were kind of like the top two that come to mind. I listened to a lot of Lorde this year and Sean McConnell, as always.
I was just talking to somebody earlier. I think my favorite album is Billie Eilish.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Billie Eilish is the real deal. I love Billie Eilish.
That album is like, I mean, I haven't listened to an album from like start to finish in a long time, and that's one that I just like couldn't turn off.
Yeah, I remember the album coming out and me kind of almost being scared because all the visuals were of her like eating tarantulas and like black tears coming out of her face. But then I listened to the record and I was like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like early Pink Floyd type stuff.
It's so cool.
That's awesome. That's Lauren Weintraub. How about your website, social media, anything like that?
Yeah, my website is just laurenweintraub.com, and my main place is Instagram. That's kind of where I hang out.
Awesome. And what's available for music online from you?
There's some stuff out that's from a few years ago, but I'm hoping to make a new record this year, so stay tuned for that.
New Year's resolutions, huh?
Yeah, big one.
Excellent. Let's do another song, Lauren, and then we'll talk some more. What are we listening to next?
Cool. This one I wrote with my good friend Joseph Patton, and it's called The Difference.
All right, let's hear it. 95.9 WATD.
Between store-bought and homemade, a phone call and face-to-face, acting tough and being strong, blame shifting, just being wrong. A hometown and a home, between the Beatles and the Stones. There's a good time and then there's trouble. There's being proud and being humble. When to fight, when to walk away, when to give and when to take. Between hearing and listening, excuses and good reasons, real love and just a feeling, being alive and really living. Know the difference between a shirt and a button down. Let's hang and can I take you out? A single rose and a dozen, hard luck and repercussions. Between pretty and beautiful, half-hearted and whole. Between speaking your mind and speaking the truth. Between I want you and I need you. When to fight, when to walk away, when to give and when to take. Between hearing and listening, excuses and good reasons, real love and just a feeling, being alive and really living. Know the difference, 'cause there's a difference. When to fight, when to walk away, when to give and when to take. Between hearing and listening, excuses and good reasons, real love and just a feeling, being alive and really living. Know the difference, 'cause there's a difference. Know the difference.
Lauren Weintraub on 95.9 WATD. Great job on that one, too.
Thank you.
Talk about how that song happened. You said it was a co-write. How did you guys come up with the theme for that?
I think Joseph had been listening to a podcast and like, I don't know, somehow just heard the word difference a lot. And then we were kind of just talking about how there's such a big difference between two small things. Like in the second verse, it kind of talks about a guy picking you up and it's like between a shirt and a button down, let's hang, can I take you out? I was like, those subtle things, there's such a difference. And the one line I love is like between there's a good time and then there's trouble. There's a very fine line between having a good time and it turning into trouble.
So once the idea for a song pops into your head, how long does it take you to either to co-write it or to write it solo, to from start to completion?
I think the quickest song I've ever written was like 30 minutes. And I think the longest a song's ever taken is like probably over a year. Like just coming back to it. There was one song me and my friend edited like 7 times. So yeah, they're all different.
Now, if you had to go back and compare the two, like a song that took you 30 minutes compared to a song that took several years, do you find that the song that took the shortest amount of time is better, or how would you compare the two?
That's a hard question. I think the one song I'm thinking about that took so long ended up being great just because we came back to it so many times. But songs I've written in an hour or under an hour, I love too. So I don't know. I think it's just when it's done, it's done. And I don't really think it matters how long it takes.
Very cool. And that is the voice of Lauren Weintraub. She is joining us tonight on 95.9 WATD. Share with us your website and your social media links again, Lauren, if you would.
Yeah. My website is laurenweintraub.com, and my Instagram is the same thing. It's just my name, Lauren Weintraub.
Awesome. And spell Weintraub for us.
Oh, yeah. That's a hard one. Weintraub.
Now, listening to your songs, the last time you were here tonight, your videos, your Spotify songs, your lyrics are very personal. Do you have any songs that you think are too personal to share publicly?
Probably, yeah. Do you want to hear them?
Sure, because there's nobody listening.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play one right now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that was something that came more recently, like in September and October. I feel like I started writing very personal songs just because it was what I was doing all day, every day. So I was kind of just like, well, this is what's going on in my life, so let's just write about it and see what happens.
I interviewed many years ago, Lori McKenna was here.
Yes.
And somebody that was co-hosting with me asked that same question. And I believe she said something along the lines of, you never know what a song is going to mean to somebody else. It may mean, absolutely nothing to you, but it could change somebody else's life.
That's very, very, very true.
Awesome. Well, let's hear some more music, Lauren. What are we doing next?
All right. Well, this one is kind of along the lines of me and writing about my life. But I was on the phone one night with my best friend, and she was telling me all her drama, and I was telling her all my drama. I was 20 at the time. Now I'm 21. But I think there was one point in the call where I was just like, Kara, why am I so bad at keeping my exes my exes? And I wrote this song about it. So this song's called My Exes.
All right. Lauren Weintraub on 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
You like this before. I want your clothes back all over my floor. It's like your voice is right outside my door, yeah. And maybe I should just call you, 'cause we both know that I want to still feel the way your lips would cover my skin. Swear it's like my mind is playing tricks on me. Do you feel it too? What I go through whenever I think of you. What am I supposed to do? 'Cause I'm driving around after midnight, praying that I see your headlights, trying to forget what you feel like. Oh, why am I so bad at keeping my exes my exes? I just can't help it. Someone give me a reason. I keep all these feelings. Well, I learned my lesson. Damn, I'm so bad at keeping exes my exes. Ooh, ooh. 'Cause I've got it down to twice a day that I think about your face. I know that might not seem like progress, babe, but it is for me. 'Cause I'm driving around after midnight, praying that I see your headlights, trying to forget what you feel like. Well, I learned my lesson. Damn, I'm so bad at keeping exes my exes. Ooh, ooh. I know I'm supposed to hate you and hope that you've moved on. No, I'm not supposed to say this, but what am I supposed to do if I love you? Why am I so bad at keeping my exes my exes? Oh, 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 why am I so bad at keeping my exes my exes? I just can't help it. Someone give me a reason. I keep all these feelings. Well, I learned my lesson. Damn, I'm so bad at keeping exes my exes. Keeping my exes my exes. Keeping my exes my exes. Keeping my exes my exes.
What a great theme for a song. Lauren Weintraub on 95.9 WATD. Awesome job on that.
Thank you.
So share with us any plans for 2020 that you have coming up.
Yeah, well, I can tell you the first 2 months definitely look like my calendar's all blocked out, writing more songs every day. And after that, I don't really know. I really want to kind of start putting a band together maybe and get back into playing shows, but we'll see what happens. I'm kind of like just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks right now.
So I have to ask too. I was reading on your on at laurenweintraub.com that you've been doing stage work since you were about 4. You know, going back to the Annie days. Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite on stage moment since you first started working in theater or music?
Wow, a favorite on... I don't know, the craziest one that ever happened was the time I got called in to play Annie on, 24 hours notice. The girl who was playing the role at this theater got sick and ended up leaving, and I got a call, and they were like, hey, do you want to come play the role? And I ended up doing the whole run for, a month, and I learned all the staging and blocking in, a day. It was, I think, the craziest thing I've ever pulled off. I don't know how I pulled it off. Someone was looking out for me that night.
When was that?
I was 14, 15.
Oh, wow.
14, yeah. So, 7 years ago.
Do you find that your theater background kind of influences your music?
Yeah. I mean, I'm, super grateful that I did all of that. I think it I don't really get nervous because of it. And the theatrical aspect of it ends up coming out still when I perform. It's so much about emoting and not just standing there and singing a song. It's helped me emote while I'm on stage.
Now that you're in Nashville and you've got a publishing deal and you're writing songs as a full-time job, is there any advice that you would give yourself, your younger self, if you can go back in time?
How far back in time?
Just any time.
I don't know, I would say don't be too hard on yourself, but I don't know. I worked really, really hard when I was in school. I would wake up at 7 a.m, go to class, write a song, go back to class, do my homework, go play a show, go watch a show, do my homework. I would get back from shows at 11 and set an alarm for 12:30, take a nap, wake up, do my homework, go back to bed. So I would say don't do too much, but it kind of, I feel helped me get where I am now, so.
Fantastic. Well, Lauren, let's do another song. What do you want to share with us next?
I'll play one called Wine Brave that I wrote recently.
All right, 95.9 WATD, it's all yours.
Glass and a half of red-colored courage in me, and it's white picket fences, the diamonds that we're meant to be. And 4 roses straight gets you to say what you mean. You start naming the babies, saying you're crazy about me. When the sun comes up and we're sober as we blame it on I was just drunk. But I wanna kiss you when the lights are on. Wanna find out what happens after the buzzing wears off. I wanna love you when the morning comes, not just when I'm wine brave and your whiskey strong. What would you say if this time we stayed in bed? Drink hangover coffee, remember what we usually forget. 'Cause I want you bad, I think you know that. The way that my heart has been beating, it's more than a midnight feeling. I wanna kiss you when the lights are on. Wanna find out what happens after the buzzing wears off. I wanna love you when the morning comes, not just when I'm wine brave and your whiskey strong. I wanna kiss you when the lights are on. Wanna find out what happens after the buzzing wears off. I wanna love you when the morning comes, not just when I'm wine brave and your whiskey strong. Not just when I'm wine brave and your whiskey strong.
Lauren Weintraub on 95.9 WATD. Awesome job on that one, too.
Thank you.
Talk about how that one was written, if you would.
This one comes from me getting inspiration from my friend's drama. But one of my good friends was like on the phone with me, and she was like, Lauren, this guy that she liked at the time, and still likes actually, she was like, he only tells me, like, he only gets the courage to tell me he likes me when he's had a glass of wine, like when he's like brave on wine. And I'm like, brave, wine, brave, gotta go, sorry. And I wrote that.
Now, is that one of those songs that kind of just came immediately to you?
This one I wrote with Joseph Patton. He's one of I write a lot of songs with him. He's amazing. And Scott Stepikoff, who I also love. And the next day I sat down with them and I was like, guys, I had this idea. And they immediately loved it, which is always a good sign. And we wrote the chorus first. We wrote the chorus in like 20 minutes. And we knew it was great. And then we were like, okay, let's go eat some food and like recharge and make sure the verses are as great as the chorus. And yeah, it was a fun day.
So when you're co-writing, how much of a completed song do you usually bring to the table?
I don't love to bring like very fully formed stuff. Some people do. Some people walk in with like a whole chorus. And I think sometimes that can work, but I just love to create from scratch, that like I normally come in with just titles or lines or guitar parts that are like pretty small.
Now, like going back to that Wine Brave song, do the people that you write songs about know they're about them?
I mean, sometimes. Like that one, I sent it to her that afternoon, and I was like, yo, I wrote a song about you. Other times, I don't want the person to hear the songs.
Can they figure it out?
I mean, if I put it on the internet, I'm sure they'd figure it out, yeah. But I feel like there are songs that I've written about people that they will never, ever here.
Does that go back into the too personal to share category?
Yeah, but like I'll sit here and play them for you all day, man.
Just want to talk about them.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That is Lauren Weintraub, and she is in our Tiny Stage studio tonight on 95.9 WATD. So for those who, we've been talking about your publishing deal, for those who aren't familiar with what a publishing deal is, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So basically, there's this thing called Music Row in Nashville, and if you drove by it and you didn't know what it would probably just look like a bunch of houses. But in all of those houses are these publishing companies, and they basically, they find writers that they just love, and basically now it's my job. Like I'm signed to them, and it's just my job to write songs, which I didn't even know was possible probably 4 years ago. So yeah, it's kind of amazing.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have any bucket list names that you would love to write for or write with?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Lori is definitely one of those people. I would love to write with her. As far as other people, I mean, yeah, the list goes on and on, honestly. Like Sean McConnell's one of those people. I'd love to write with Noah Gunderson one day too. Like Lady Gaga. Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah,
I want to meet her.
That's a bucket list name for sure.
Yeah.
And how about here in the Boston area? Who are you listening to locally?
It's a lot of Sean McConnell and Lori McKenna. Those are the two I kind of found when I was still in high school that really made me want to write and write. So those are kind of my two top ones.
Excellent. That is Lauren Weintraub, and I think we're up against our second break of the night, but we have time for one more song. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that in just a moment. I want to remind you, coming up next on WATD, Americanorama with Mike Joshua. That comes your way at 10 till 1. A lot of good stuff coming up. Mike's playlist is very eclectic, so you're going to hear a lot tonight on Americanorama. And wake up tomorrow morning with Rob Hakala and the South Shores Morning News, along with Lisa Azizian and our award-winning news team. A lot coming your way here on WATD. Available online all the time at 959watd.com. Right now, we have to take our final time out. And here's a look at the forecast. And then we have these messages. And then we're back with more of Lauren Weintraub on the Tiny Stage right here on Almost Famous 95.9 WATD.
Wherever you go, we're there. Listen online at 959watd.com. We're the South Shores radio station, 95.9 WATD.
And for the final time this evening, welcome back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD. It's our Tiny Stage Hour. My name is John Shea. We introduce you to independent bands and musicians from across the region here on the South Shore, into Boston, across New England, brought to you each and every Tuesday night by Tiny and Sons Glass. And you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/almostfamousradio, Instagram at almostfamousradio, and the Tiny Stage is always made available as a podcast. You can find that at almostfamousradio.com. Nearing 10 o'clock, it's almost time to welcome Mike Joshua with Americanorama, but we have Lauren Weintraub in our studio for a few more minutes. How you doing in there, Lauren?
I'm great.
So give us one last introduction, if you would.
Of myself?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I'm Lauren. Great to meet you. My website's Lauren Weintraub, and you can find me on Instagram, and that's kind of the main place I hang out. Yeah.
Fantastic. And any big plans coming up for 2020? Remind us of those.
Oh, yeah. Big plans are just to write some more songs.
Maybe some recording here and there.
And hopefully record some of them, yeah.
That's amazing. So let's do your final song. We might as well.
Yeah.
What are we closing off the night with?
This is a song I wrote with Jordan Shellhart. It's called Tough Love.
All right. Thank you again, Lauren. Get home safely. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
If I ever have a family, will I live up to what I live? Will I pass down more than mama's eyes to my kids? I wish she could leave a recipe so I could raise them like she did us. Another index card in the pages of a red and white checker cookbook. maybe I could figure it out if I really tried. Yeah, I'd be willing to bet it'd probably say something like a little bit of hallelujah morning, a little bit of fairy tales at night, dash of common sense and consequence, blowing kisses, change traffic lights, little bit of listen more than you talk, and when you do, look 'em in the eye, a little bit of here, baby, take my hand, pull yourself up, a little bit of tough love. If you don't make it home by curfew, you'll be sleeping out with the dogs. But at 10:15, she'd call Mercy and the front door would unlock. Get 3 lessons into anything before I let you quit. So it was ballet tights and soccer cleats that taught me not to give up so quick. And a little bit of hallelujah morning, a little bit of fairy tales at night, dash of common sense and consequence, blowing kisses, change traffic lights, a little bit of listen more than you talk, and when you do, look 'em in the eye, a little bit of here, baby, take my hand, but pull yourself up, a little bit of tough love gets me through the tough stuff, and I'm just thankful to come from a little bit of hallelujah morning and fairy tales at night, dash of common sense and consequence, blowing kisses, change traffic lights, a little bit of listen more than you talk, and when you do, look 'em in the eye, a little bit of here, baby, take my hand, and pull yourself up. There's no woman like her, and there ain't no love like tough love.